changed, but their strategy seemingly hasn't.
So maybe a team, you know, that was adversely affected by the patch changes by virtue of what you're talking about. You want to stick with those, you know, quad AD comps. You are looking for some AP from the jungle, but tougher to find that.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I think that Immortals are a very flexible team, and Sandy as a player goes into his champion pool, Spring Split, had the Karthus is what I was looking for. Ziggs, all these things, was flexing the Jace really early on in this split, so like, he can always change up. I think it's more so Immortals trying to find a look that's consistent for them that, yeah, I do think will change going into this draft.
Yeah. And going into this draft, it's going to be interesting to see what, you know, the teams prioritize. I think for TSM, you're probably going to see them pretty highly prioritize Lee Sin. Lee Sin, his E got nerfed, but that doesn't affect his jungle clear because he Q maxes in the jungle anyway, and this is still a flex pick and a pick that Spica's been successful on.
I'm expecting LeBlanc being picked up, probably a 3-pick here for TSM because it's just a safe option before they go into 4-5, and it just feels like they are going to have to find a safe, blind pickable mid lane going up against Immortals.
Do you think TSM is not comfortable picking Gwen first? Because if I'm not mistaken, Gwen's one of the strongest champions right now. With them banning it, it kind of shows me that they're not comfortable first picking it. Do you think that's a case of A, they don't think she's that strong, or B, that they're not good at her? What are your thoughts on that?
Probably not good at her. I think you want to try and first pick her if you are able to flex her in 3 lanes, primarily like mid, jungle, top. But a lot of the times, these teams have just been looking for a top lane Gwen.
Well, snap pick on the Viego for TSM. Just following up on the Nocturne conversation, it's Immortals of all teams that actually bans it out there on red side. So that one will not be in this game. We'll have to see him reach for something else.
I'm interested if this is a Viego in the, in the solo lane, because he did get a significant nerf from 100%, HP getting off of minions to 50%, half the amount of sustain you get off of just through the minion wave alone. So it's been seen more as a jungler. And I think it's a good look for Spica. It worked successfully for Closer in his previous game.
I definitely see it being a jungler more than a laner, because he already had a weak lane phase before that. If you ever actually watched Viego laning, especially mid, you almost always see him under tower, trying to last out with Q, barely surviving, until he can get a couple buys and he's chilling. But now with that even worse, his laning phase has gotten significantly worse. And how do you can avoid that? Go into the jungle. These junglers keep taking my champions, man. What are these guys doing?
Yeah. So one thing that's interesting to note here is Lee Sin, who was more highly prioritized, has actually slipped through the entire first pick phase. Okay.
All right,
it looks
now
like
the
we might be getting it now. There we go. So I guess now TSM, they have the option with Viego and Lee. Just pick which matchups you like, and then you can swap Lee Sin into the jungle if you don't want him into a lane. You can swap Viego into the jungle if you don't want to deal with the reduced sustain in lane as well. So I like the flexibility, the triple flex picks that TSM has prioritized here.
I would love for Lee Sin to go into the top lane, knowing that he's going up against a Renekton match.
Oh, with the Diana.
There it is.
Whoa.
Wow.
This is going to be a really interesting comp.
Yeah.
I actually don't really like this. They have all 3 of their top sides shown already. Like, they're hiding their AD carry, they're hiding the support, but I don't really think he can counter pick like a Tristana / whatever IMT does here, because he could pick their support here and then ban the counters here, right? Like, say they want to pick like an enchanter, they could just ban Leona and whoever would else punish it. So the fact that they showed all 3 lanes here, you can probably make a good guess at who's gonna go where with it, and it kind of ruins the fact
There's that.
Karthus.
Karthus time!
Glad you called that one out. It's interesting to me too, yeah, just the fact that you look at TSM's side, you already know where all 3 of those
right.
champions
If I were to
are
make a
going.
guess, I would say Diana jungle, Lee top, and
Lee top and Viego mid, 100%.
is what I would assume.
100%. Yeah.
Like, if I were IMT, I would assume that's what would
That's
go.
a curveball if they don't go there.
Right.
Yeah, and I think IMT should probably look for a LeBlanc ban here. We've seen LeBlanc be really, really good in hands of PoE. Oh, sorry. Well, actually, Viz 2 solos already picked, so they don't have to worry about LeBlanc at all.
One thing I want to point out here, even though we have seen Insanity play the Karthus in the past, Xerxes is a great Karthus jungle player, and Tristan is a fantastic, mid laner in general. I think mid laner, bot laner, they even have an academy top laner named Viper that plays Tristan at top side. So if you're just talking about like who they've been scrimming against and what kind of information they're getting, you don't want to rule out the fact that it's an AD top laner. They played Lucian in their previous game. So I just think in general, IMT have not shown their cards in the first phase.
Wait, really?
With red side.
I think it's pretty obvious with what it is. That's Renekton top. That's 99% chance.
Well, then why did they ban
AD carry.
Jace?
Who?
TSM bans Jace. If you know Renekton's going top, are you really worried about a Jace mid lane?
Because that's, no, well, I mean, technically you can still flex a Renekton top or mid, right?
Right.
But knowing that, I would still assume it goes top, but you ban Jace in the case
To
that
force
they do
it.
something. Yeah,
Okay.
make it go there.
Okay.
Because whoever banned the Jace for whether it's for top or mid, they don't want that option to be there. They'd rather just get rid of it. And otherwise, they're just banning for their lanes, right? They're banning for top or for mid. They're not going to ban bot lanes.
Yeah, it's very likely that it is going to be Renekton top. With the only question for me is like where the Tristana is going.
Right.
Either in
I'd
AD
imagine
carry or
Raze
mid.
plays it. He's a very good Tristana. They like playing scaling AD carries anyway. He does really well on it. I could see it going mid. I could see Tristana going mid, but there's no way this Crocodile goes mid. I'd bet against.
Yeah, so there's still a bunch of really good supports available. You know, Thresh got banned out with remove Aphelios from the table, and I think Thresh is a good ban in general. There's still the Nautilus, there's still the Braum.
The Nautilus is something that I would look for. It's Destiny's best pick past the Thresh, and I think it rounds out their composition. I do think they need hard engage, so it's nice to see it locked in.
Honestly, they probably, so if you look at TSM's comp, right, they're pretty much sending all their dudes into you. A very good way to play against that is just picking similar things to that, right? I actually would have loved to see a Galio support here. Hear me out. If you have a triple dive comp and you're running to a Galio support, it's so annoying to play versus that, and it's actually really strong. He has very good follow-up for in case you do need an engage, and he has very good disengage.
Well, they're following their dive with more dive as Leona is locked in.
They're locked in.
Kaisa can join the party too.
Yeah, it's a Sword Art pick there. Like, Sword Art's just a damn good Leona player, and he's just confident with it. I would say it's his most confident pick. So even though I do agree, we've seen the Galio with Diana in the previous game, just yesterday, actually. It's a great combination, but makes sense that they're going to comfort here. I'm not too sure what IMT with Lana look for.
Ooh.
No. Okay.
Okay, hi.
Okay.
Hey, did anyone expect that one as the fifth and final pick?
All right, how about this? I'm wrong, but I don't like their comp now. They can win because they tricked me.
Right.
But this comp, like this, like
But they lost the war.
the 4 or 5 ban, I think they should have double banned AD carry there. They did a split between AD carry and support.
Yeah.
I would have preferred they just double banned AD carry, Kalista, and Kaisa to prevent the AD carry to have a good engage or follow up, right? Those are the only 2 AD carries that can do that well. They should have just stuck to a double AD carry ban there.
One thing that at least IMT is good at, being able to make plays on side lane. If it's the Tristana Nautilus on side, if it's the Renekton on side, of course the Camille will always have power on side, like, and the Karthus that's going to be able to always support you with ultimate. So like at least there they have strong playmaking potential on side lanes, but team fighting aspect is going to be a little hard for them. I just love the all-in nature of TSM. Like Leona ultimate, Kaisa follows up. They're playing that mini game with Viego. If he can get kind of any bodies off of it, a reset, that'd be great for them.
I just want to get one final word from you, Kaizen, as they load into game about how this Immortals comp ultimately reflects upon their evolution in drafting, because it does feel like a pretty distinct departure.
Yeah, I think it is a pretty distinct departure. I mean, for one, the Karthus just provides a different set of capabilities than a champ like a Xin or any of the more aggressive early games. So I think, as Raz said, it's going to be more about playing off of side lanes, in the mid game. So I think it's going to be a less comfortable draft for Immortals than they're used to, and I think TSM has won this draft personally.
All in all, a very intriguing draft, rather. But as we load into the game, it's my cue to toss it over to our casters, the Doug Duo, for the call.
Thank you very much, Dash. Welcome, everyone, to the LCS. This is Freak with Azael.
Yes,
And we are the Doug Duo.
that's true. I don't know why we
I
did
don't
that.
know why,
That
but it was
horrible.
fun. We are back and ready to cast some League of Legends TSM. They faltered yesterday, still the second place team in the LCS. And Immortals have been on their way up. I bet Kobe they beat Cloud9. They did not, but they still got a good chance here against TSM.
And this is actually really interesting because it does feel like TSM is drafting one patch behind, right? You know, both Lee Sin and Viego got significant nerfs as solo laners. The Emax for the Lee Sin was nerfed. The sustain for Viego off of minions was cut in half. That is a significant hit to both of these champions. And with Revenge going Ignite TP plus Grasp for a lot of laning power, that could be troublesome for Huni. I'm going to be interested to see how these lanes do play out. It's also worth noting that, yes, Power of Evil did play the Viego. He won on it once earlier this split. But his most played melee champion, if you want to disregard Kassadin because it's kind of different style, is actually 3 plays at Talon. So it's just not a style he plays at all in his career. And I'm really going to be interested to see how Power of Evil looks on the Viego. Can he look comfortable here? Because I think his success is so critical for TSM.
Absolutely the case, and so I'm excited to see what comes out of this one. I'm a huge fan of the Diana pickup. I think she's great overall. Karthus, honestly thought it was going to be Insanity in the mid lane when he grabbed it. I think he's actually been such an amazing Karthus, but I don't know the matchups against champions like Viego, so okay. Still Xerxes playing, a lot of his mage junglers. He was one of the only Rumbles I really liked in the jungle in the LCS. I thought his Gragas has also been very good, so this is clearly a good style for him. Speaking of interesting styles, Camille has not been played a lot so far this year, but Revenge playing in the top lane is the featured pro view matchup. He and Huni are there. Check that out if you want to.
Yep, absolutely. I'd also say, you know, the exhaust on Karthus is interesting. This is mostly what you get in solo queue. It's really to answer largely a lot of the invades that Karthus deals with. Karthus, if you actually have high Q accuracy, you have incredibly high DPS in these duels, and down to the bot lane.
Pretty good damage down here, but Ray is forced to flash away. Final shot comes in. The flash stun is gonna be enough. But will Destiny trade it back? Needs one more auto on
the potion.
He's healing with the potion. And I don't know if Destiny can get this one. Flashes, gets caught up. He's gonna die for this one. Oh, what a heartbreak. But TSM get the 2-0 start in bot.
Oh, it's a disaster in the bottom lane. TSM bot lane coming out huge. Power of Evil taking a rough trade there, but we'll have to see if they can bounce back off of that one. Looked like Reyes was pretty late on the summoners. You know, he actually was saving the cleanse for the potential stun, but took most of that ignite damage before using it. Xerxes here, though, trying to wrap on Huni. We'll see if the hookshot can land to set it up.
310 level 4 already in top lane. Karthus is a power farmer. Question is, can Huni get away? Does not have a trinket ward. So has to, oh, sorry, does. I guess I mistimed the cooldown. Does use that one. Exhausted, still has the flash dodge as a single lay waste. Cannot get killed as he gets onto the turret. So able to save all of his cooldowns to stay alive. Now as the scuttle fight comes in, Insanity with pressure.
Oh, Spica got it, I think. It
What?
died
Oh,
to
it
the burn.
burned!
Oh,
It died
no.
to the burn! No, that is so unlucky.
That's actually so sad. Died to the burn there from a jungle item, plus he had red buff.
Yeah.
So a little bit of burn, and Insanity mistimes it. So TSM, not only do they get the double kill on bot side, they're actually going to get double scuttle here, funnily enough, and Immortals off to a very rough start. It's already a 1,200 gold lead before the second scuttle's even taken.
And we still have a pretty aggressive mid trade going on, though. It can still go one way or the other. We'll see if that comes around. Speaking, going to put a nice control ward down. Says, okay, I see yours. Sure, we'll get rid of this vision and put the threat down.
The biggest problem is the lane is pushing away from them, right? So, you know, you can't actually walk up. You're having that denied. We'll get a replay on this. We can see how this one started out. So he just fully tanked the initial stun, and I think that's actually the biggest issue. If he just insta-cleansed that initial stun, there's
really
no way
Yeah.
that Lost is able to actually get the full passive proc, right? You allowed Kaisa to get 5 stacks of plasma to get that kill. He didn't respect the all-in, maybe thinking they were going to have, you know, just a little bit of a trade here. It wasn't going to be a full commitment, but that you should never die to that. That should just be a cleanse and jump back, and that's the end of it. One summoner down. Instead, way slow on it, ends up using the flash really late, the cleanse really late, so he uses both summoners, still dies. And that's a pretty unacceptable misplay at this level.
Yeah, pretty huge mistake right there. So we have to see if that's going to keep paying out. Huni obviously has done mostly magic damage to champs because his E has ult been hitting. So Revenge gets kind of an unlucky shield choice against that champion, but that's going to be the function against E Max Lee Sin. And doesn't get much out of the trades there. Still equal in farm, though. Next one comes in. There we go. That's rocket jump timed appropriately. They go back in on a sword art, wait out the W, then the last auto can come in afterwards, but it lasts too long to matter. Destiny just cannot get out of this one. Locked down far too much. A 3-0 bot lane for TSM.
And that interaction there is why people consider Leona to be such a good matchup into Nautilus. Nautilus is just so much less tanky. When these two champions go in, if the Leona is just going straight onto that Nautilus, your AD hits the Nautilus, you know, the Nautilus's AD hits Leona. Leona doesn't take any damage there. With the W up, with the Aftershock proc, you are always losing those trades. So, you know, whether Nautilus is trying to peel back or trying to be the one who engages, Leona's almost always going to come out ahead. Of course, they also had the gold lead. They had the better items. That's a big deal in those trades, too. It's pickaxe versus nothing as the buys. So, of course, that does matter, but it's going to be so hard for Immortals to really get anything done down there unless they can have jungle interference. A nice ward here on that lane does catch the jungler sneaking in. And I think for Immortals, you now kind of just cut off that bot lane. It's gangrene. Get rid of it. You're looking towards top. You're trying to play for a 6 here on Xerxes, and then you're hoping that Revenge plus Xerxes here can actually get that kill on the top side. Can combine with the Ignite, with the Camille ultimate for the lockdown. The Karthus ulti comes in cross map. If you can kill Huni, get ahead on that Camille, you will outscale in the side lane as well, so things will just look better for you as the game goes on.
Well, farming pretty well on the Karthus, but level 6 already in for Spica. It's just been richer overall, so, you know, good job in the early clearing. Spica, level 6 on Diana means there's some real gank threat here. Momentary bot lane pressure. Though Xerxes used a sweeper as he walked down a bot, did not catch that ward that we just saw in the brush, so that is information that they don't know about, despite having the ability to do so. But Time for the third clear coming through as Xerxes going to grab his Gromp basically on cooldown and keep that one going, as we can see the Dragon already being started off with their bot lane coming back in. Technically not the easiest play, but Spica had used the Blast Plant to get in, I believe, or maybe a QE from the wall, so really doesn't know for sure he's doing it. Sword Art was spotted by the Scuttle. It's not going to matter, though. And with all the bot lane pressure, you can't take the 2-on-2 or the 3-on-3. First Dragon comes in, and TSM off to an early stack start. I'm now curious when they get Herald as well, if they can get their bot lane up to make that one happen.
I'm not sure if they will look for that or not. You can see that Sword Art is kind of moving back and forth here, threatening the roam towards mid, but I wouldn't mind them just continuing to play through bot, play for that 2v2, look to try to maintain dominance in the Kai'Sa over that Tristana. I think that, honestly, they have enough prio on the top side. Like, mid has largely been pushing, top has largely been pushing. I don't know that they need to move their bot to fully commit to Herald, and we'll see if they feel that's something they need to go for.
Wait to see. 1,500 gold is going to be the gold difference. Obviously, comebackable. 1,500 is not insurmountable, but it's a tough one here as Xerxes keeps the power farm going. But again, we keep in mind that we're watching the Karthus. The Diana from Spica has been completely keeping up, and again, is up experience from when he's been in the lanes and helping out. He had recently, been topside, recalled in the brush, the way he was pushing it.
Double Scuttle as well.
Right, double Scuttle, obviously really relevant there on top. And now we have the fight in the top. River gets away from most of the damage, Insanity, and now has popped the ult, but he's still in a 1 versus 3. Heal's not gonna be enough, and the kills start going elsewhere.
I mean, that was not good from Insanity. He saw them actually coming over, and he goes back for the last hit on the ward. Yeah, you got the pink ward, but you gave up your life for it and your ultimate, so now it's a free take of this Rift Herald. They left Kai'Sa bot, so can they pull off the dive? You have got to do something here.
Oh, they're going to get a lot of damage down there. Lost should have an ulti, gets a bit of health back, and Xerxes gets the kill. Finally one on the board for Immortals and Azael. I've got a reason for you. Insanity thought he was getting an actual kill. This is a Bjergsen team. Everyone who is not Bjergsen is, in fact, a ward. And so he just assumed that was going to be a solo kill.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you, Freak.
You're welcome.
For the high-level analysis there that we know and trust.
That's me.
Yep. Gotta say, Lost should have just played below the tower. There's honestly been a very sloppy game so far. There's no reason to really allow the Nautilus to walk up and hook you like that. At the very least, if you want to stay in the tower and not back it up, play below the turret so that he cannot hook you from that angle. He played beside the tower. They probably could make the dive happen either way because Nautilus can just walk up to you and then auto you for the little passive route. But at the very least, there's more of an opportunity of a counter kill, some sort of turnaround there, make it a little bit more difficult. No reason not to, but Lost, a little bit of a misplay, does go down, so Immortals at least getting something back for themselves.
Okay, good job. Sword Art gets a W on in time, take a much lower amount of damage, but yes, Revenge is in, and Lost, you don't have a good way out, has Flash, it will not get out of the Hexagon. Flashes away, but it doesn't matter, should it? Revenge needs an auto attack, gets it, and will drop aggro in time. 2 kills picked up for Immortals, and just like that, they're back in the game.
That's a great TP from Revenge, and you've got to look at the teleport cooldown for Hootie. It's just barely not up. So they had a really good timer on this. This was really the final seconds they had to actually go for that play. Revenge had TP advantage. He waited all this time. Hootie is just now getting his teleport back, so really good play around that. It will be pretty costly on the top side. It actually is going to give the individual advantage probably over to Hootie, despite the fact that Revenge picked up a kill, multiple plates going that way. So here it is one more time. They have the deep ward. They see the Leona moving up. I think that TSM's read was we are safe because we know Tristana is on a reset, but Revenge gets the TP behind, a well-timed ulti there from Revenge as well, immuning the ulti coming through from the Leona, gets the last auto, gets out, really well done.
Nice mechanism by Lost, actually kited back in, or just like walked back in towards the kill to not get slowed by the W. Could take the inside track of it instead, but obviously it's not going to be enough. Revenge did not die to the turret.
Viego's moving up, so they're looking for a play here.
Whoa, Revenge is whipped to Z on nothing, gets kicked back. Now they know he has no escapes. We know he's not running Flash in the first place. He's got to just run. He's got to book it. Thankfully, Karthus is nearby, gets the Wall of Pain slow. Decent damage. Revenge gets away from the stuns and stays alive, but now Rift Herald is going to make sure that top lane turret dies.
And this is the extended cost of that bot lane TP.
No.
It's too late.
This TP is absolute garbage. He shows up in time, so maybe we can take it all back. gets there, and maybe it's a fight they can win. They kill the Herald. Ulti comes in from Diana. Insanity just drops, and be careful. Renekton is now on the hunt. Ult's in for the chase and just gets delivered 2 kills. Insanity. Oh, what a heartbreak of a play.
Play the sound clip, Freak, because that TP sucked. Insanity coming in late there, trying to prevent it. They had made a good cross-map play. They don't need to overforce. That was the extended cost of that bot lane TP from Revenge, because when he did that, Huni got to take multiple plates on the top side. They already had the Herald. You've just got to accept that the tower is dead. Instead, they tried to fight for it here. You know, we could already see on the minimap, it's the roams up, right? It's the TSM play. They're trying to move up through Try. They're trying to actually catch him off. Xerxes is here. He's looking to peel, but you can see his ultimate was on cooldown. The ultimate from Revenge is on cooldown. They don't have Ignite. I just don't see why you're trying to force this play with Revenge actually backing off this far with him very low on health. Like, Revenge isn't even on the screen at this point. So now they can come back and try to actually get involved. The TP does arrive, but still, your Camille can't even really enter the fight. Xerxes is low on mana. It's just kind of a 1v3 for Insanity because his teammates are not on the same page. And that, to me, really speaks of miscommunication, the fact that you're not tracking your teammates' resources, that they can't follow up on that they're not in the position to take this fight. If Camille has ulti, if Karthus has ulti, if you've got Ignite, if you've got health, then great, take that play. But it's an overforce, and it feels like it's trying to make up for the earlier death, the earlier mistake from Insanity, and instead, it just digs them into an even deeper hole because they had been clawing their way back in, to be honest with you.
They had been, but now it's right back to depths that we saw before. In fact, it's grown because of all the turret plates taken. We've got a full 3,000 gold lead. Second Drake went over 30 seconds ago, so that's also an extra little bit in TSM's pocket. They're just that 10 minutes away from an Ocean Soul. That's going to be tough to deal with. Immortals reasonably bursty. They can probably damage through it, but it's still going to be extra power if that keeps going on. We can see Sword Art and Lost think about heading topside.
Yeah.
Stop early, though.
I mean, theoretically, you can always win, even if there's Ocean Soul, but there are some very brawly champions. It's these kind of 4 champions, all playing Conqueror, all going to be going, pseudo-tanky builds very likely here. We'll probably see Zhonya's coming through. We obviously have these kind of brawler-style builds for Lee Sin as well as the Viego, and giving them Ocean Soul on top just makes it incredibly difficult to actually push through. We'll see if Immortals can get something back for themselves, but unfortunately for them, they don't really have an advantage anywhere right now. They're going to be down in all regards, and that is a very difficult position to play through. Revenge does have the scaling advantage. Perhaps even with the gold deficit, he can win in that 1v1 against Huni, and I still feel like that's really where they need to focus. Just probably move the Tristana to mid lane, get her that safe farm, and play around the Camille. Try to create side lane pressure. If you can do that, you can maybe pull TSM's comp apart and create slow incremental advantages. Make use of your scaling because they do have Tristana, Karthus, Camille, which is insane late game.
Sure, yes. And this is going to be the look is my eyes are primarily on Revenge. I think he will be winning almost every duel he's ever a part of in almost any of these matches. So as long as his gold total is fine, and right now it is, then he's got to watch for. And what's nice is even if the 1v1 is going to be tough, you've got a Karthus. Guess what? It's a 1.5v1. You're actually winning every battle as long as you're able to somewhat stabilize the game. Again, the timer of Dragon Soul in 8 minutes, that's going to put a damper on things somewhat, but this is still where I'm looking of as exactly what you're saying, splitting TSM apart a little bit and using that as an advantage. Huni, nice job, get some counter jungling done. Any bit of gold you can take away from Karthus really, really matters. He really, really wants level 11 here from Xerxes, and he's going to be close, but still has to get a couple more cycles in.
And part of the difficulty is always, when your team is losing, even if you win the 1v1, creating enough vision, enough safety for you to really go aggressive in that split push situation is very, very difficult. And it's one of the big reasons we see teams shy away from that style, because it's so much about team fighting these days. It's so much about playing towards dragons and heralds and barons and looking for soul, looking for elder, that playing this split push style, takes a lot of work, a lot of coordination. And we can see jungle support moving up towards top, trying to establish at least some preliminary vision here for Revenge. They don't have any deep vision, But at the very least, we can see, they have some vision along their side of the map. It's kind of this line of safety here. So at least you're not going to get wrapped around on as the Camille if you are pushing up there. But they would like to really extend that forward. They would like to get that deep vision into the enemy jungle to give him that safety if they want him pushing up, challenging for 1v1s, and challenging for that tier 1 tower.
Well, to the editor, it's gone so far from TSM. Immortals have yet to finish killing one yet. I'm looking for when they actually have some lane pressure to make that one happen. Camille has walked down towards the mid to maybe collapse, look for a play. Flash hook, no, Huni on the reflex, just easily sidesteps it. Good safeguard back to a minion, and now Destiny has Hex Flash, sure, but ultimately doesn't get anything good, and should be taking a recall.
Yep. I mean, I think the call here is basically we need a pick to fight for Dragon, right? So he's going for this risky play, flashing in, trying to hit the hook on Huni, hoping, all right, we kill Huni, we can maybe challenge to prevent the soul point. Without that, I don't know if they're going to fight for it. My guess is not. I think that they're in such a bad position right now, but it's also a risky proposition to just give it up and allow them to get those 3 quick dragons. So tough decisions now for Immortals. Viego already moving down. Camille is staying up towards that top side. And I don't think that Immortals really have any way to actually get in with no vision and challenge for this. So in my opinion, you just push for towers. You try to take a little bit of gold, try to get that top tier 1, push towards mid, maybe get some damage down there, and hope that you're in a better spot to actually fight at Soul.
And thankfully they are. You've got Camille all the way on top side, just soloing the top lane turret. Sadly, no mid lane pressure as the bottom jungle gets taken, the blue buff gets taken, the Gromp gets taken. TSM, good job, getting all that control, taking all those resources. You can see the top lane turret, though, still well above half health, and Power of Evil is now on the way over. Revenge likely does not finish that turret in time, and though Immortals get a wave or 2 of extra gold, well, 2 camps is the same amount of gold and XP, so ultimately even the cross-mapping does very, very little, and now we have TSM only 5 minutes away from Ocean Soul.
And that's where you got to credit TSM for the prep, right? They did a very good job actually denying vision. They have so many wards in that quadrant that Immortals couldn't really move in whatsoever. Their vision had been completely denied. When you're down in gold, it's already an off chance that you're going to win that 5v5. Walking in blind, you've got no shot, so TSM playing it out very, very well. As you said, on pace for an extremely early Soul here. And even if Lee Sin is going to get bopped in this 1v1, Viego really isn't at this point. Power of Evil is ahead in gold. He's in a good spot, so Immortals trying to get out to the side lane, trying to disrupt these 1v1s, create a winning position. But again, TSM's vision is preempting the play, and they're just kind of getting locked into this slow, steady pace where TSM is playing from the advantage. They have control of all the objectives. It's been 3 for 3 on Dragons, 2 for 2 on Heralds, and they look like they are cruising right now.
They are. The 3 kills that Immortals got is everything separating them from a perfect game. Not a single objective has been claimed. Just the 1,400 or so gold from the few kills they've gotten. And sadly, not a lot going for Immortals right now as they move towards maybe loss number 18 of the season. TSM, of course, top 2 in the league. I think almost everyone would agree. So it's going to be a tough opponent, all said and done. And right now they are taking care of business. Power of Evil going to take a recall. Doesn't want to work overtime. Wants to get his items in, take his mandatory break. That's good. And then come back and pick up some kills soon.
Going to be working towards that second item here. Looking for the Blade of the Rune King, so definitely trying to itemize more towards the 1v1, more towards that split push. It's not Sterix for the 5v5. He feels like he's looking to answer the win condition of Immortals.
Yeah.
And if you're on the TSM side and you say, okay, how do Immortals win this game? Almost everyone's going to immediately go, all right, Camille takes over in the side lane. Well, build for the Blade of the Rune King, build for that 1v1, and Power of Evil playing with this additional gold can be the guy to hold him down, to answer him in that side lane. And I think this is a smart adaptation. You don't need Huni out there where he's already kind of outscaled in that 1v1 and could potentially get abused.
Revenge looks up, sees Spica. They might take this fight, gets a slow, and they don't go for the battle. The thing is, they know Huni is bot lane on the wave. Yeah, he's got TP, but I mean, even just being there a bit early, like maybe that's not a good TP work for the Lee Sin. Like maybe you want to look for those fights a little bit more often because you're not getting many better situations than when someone's currently on a wave on the other side of the map.
Yeah, it's tough. You kind of gotta take your time and
okay, here we
call.
go. They get the anchor, they get some decent damage. Xanol comes in, Zonius comes in a little bit late, so he's very low. Can they win the back half of this fight? Is there enough re-engaged power? Karthus Speaking gets all the shields in the world and just stays alive. Couple of W's. Thank you, Huni. Thank you, Spica. Thank you, Sword Art. Nothing doing.
Yep, Locket shielding coming through. So strong as an answer to this Karthus, who relies on this heavy AoE damage, and having that lock hit, perfect answer here. Immortals trying to push up, trying to create some sort of advantage off the back of it, but honestly, nothing happening as Spica's regen most of that health. They do force out the Zonias. I think it was a good look trying to force there onto Spica. They got the teleport out of Huni, so that's something for them, but it did cost them both the summoners off of Raze, and they're not even able to get a kill from it. So TSM prepping for this dragon, looking towards Soul, and Immortals without really any time to look for any additional play before that. So it's going to be up to this 5v5. It's going to be up to who can establish vision in this dragon area in this next minute.
A little bit of extra damage comes in as Xerxes gets the first half of his Void Staff. I'm glad he's not going towards Zonius. He's still got a functioning stopwatch. It's a waste of gold to go for the rest of that item. There's better things to buy, so I like that one, but you're still fighting. You're a molehill, they're a mountain. It's a 5,000 gold difference. The Drakes even add on top of that one for the extra stats with Infernal and Mountain. And here we go. Bottom river is what we care about. Mid lane pushed in first by TSM.
They've just got no vision, right? They've got nothing. You know, if you swap to that Immortal side, they can't see forward at all. And they're now Destiny in trouble, gonna get pushed back. That's his flash down. So he's gonna have to reset. And it feels like the Soul is maybe even just gonna be given over for almost nothing because they have no eyes
Yeah, they got to get
dragon.
A way in. A flash done something, but Power of Evil is just out of range or just isn't going on anyway. They find the first fight, though. Huge damage. The kickback. Camilla's dead instantly. Will it be a trade? Huni drops. Top laner's dead. Support traded down now as well. But Power of Evil on the Viego has already got his double. Can go for a third. Kaisa picks up 2 more, and now it's only Raze left alive, and he's going to fall. Triple kill for Lost. TSM take the Bud Light Ace, and what do they choose? Is it Soul? Is it Baron? They're going both.
Yeah, it can take it all at this point, Freak. TSM crushing Immortals so far ahead at this point. They knew they were in such a position of power. You look at the completed items, they're in such a better spot for this fight. They had choked Immortals out as far as the vision. They could have gone for the Soul, but they see the angle to take the fight. They ace them, they get Baron, they get Soul. This game is so over. TSM have absolutely destroyed Immortals.
Beautifully done. There you go. Sub 24 minutes. The Soul is in. Let's watch that fight one more time.
Yep, here it is again. It's just been the slow denial of vision. They see Revenge there on the side, and they actually just look for the focus on him. He gets stunned up, and then Huni goes in, kicks him back into the team, absolutely deleting him. You can see Viego picks up the Camille Soul, hook-shotting into the backline, piling through. Lost is untouched this entire time, free-firing, saving the ulti to pick up that final kill onto Raze. Great team fighting there from TSM. They have really snowballed this game quickly and look poised to close this one out in a really quick game.
Here we go. Mid lane tier 2 gonna drop for sure. Turret number 4 taken. Immortals have as many kills as TSM have dragons or turrets. And now we'll look at the next one as they're going to knock down the inhibitor turret next in the mid lane. Just pushing straight down the mid lane. They find the Sun and Insanity. Good luck, Renekton. Double dash the way, but Nautilus dives in at the same time and just find that kill on Destiny. Now Xerxes, yeah, sorry, buddy, you're dropping as well. Goes into zombie form, gets used out of the passive. Might get a half-decent ulti, but there's no way it's going to matter. Everyone is dead yet again. The Bud Light Ace, the open nexus is about to be found. Those turrets will not last long, and TSM will take win number 22. They will dismantle Immortals. Bot diff was gigantic, huge by Lost in Sword Art, and it got paid forward everywhere. 16-4, TSM absolutely slaughter Immortals to start out the day.
A great bounce back for TSM here. Domination is the word against Immortals. A little bit of a sloppy back and forth in the early game, but TSM came out miles ahead. And honestly, after some little